Welcome. My guest is Ron Delegge. He is the editor of ETFguide.com. We're going to talk about a recent article he wrote entitled Social Security, Celebrating 75 Years of Mismanagement. Welcome, Ron. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Scott. Great to be here.
You're taking a rather irreverent look at really what the 75 years of the Social Security system here, which in my mind really was started with really good intentions, but it's different now, isn't it?
Absolutely. The general idea when it was signed into law as a Social Security Act in 1935 by Franklin Roosevelt was to offer temporary financial assistance to the aged, the disabled, and the unemployed. Social Security payments were to be funded through payroll taxes called FICA, also known as the Federal Insurance Contributions Act. And in terms of dollars paid in, and I don't think the government ever envisioned this when it first started, but Social Security has just ballooned into the largest government program in the world and the single greatest expenditure of the federal budget today. That's how big it's become.
And given those good intentions in the beginning, it worked fine for a while, but things have changed, and most recently, I guess, one of the major components is that the population is aging.
That is definitely a contributing factor to the problems that it's suffering. Payments being drawn from the system have dramatically increased because destitute people are applying for benefits sooner than they had planned, and probably sooner than Social Security Administration had planned. Also, the program's revenues dropped sharply because there are fewer paychecks to tax, and you could blame nationwide unemployment near 20% for that particular problem. And beyond that, the other problem, the other conundrum, is that the government keeps spending payroll taxes earmarked for social benefits on things not related to Social Security. So when you add up all of that, it's a pretty nice formula for disaster.
Well, one of these solutions has been privatizing Social Security, and that sounds good on paper. It doesn't sound, though, based on your article, that you're too confident that Wall Street would do a good job either.
It shifts the responsibility of the government, who knows nothing about managing money, to Wall Street, who knows nothing about managing money. And you know, you can look at this depending on your own uniquely deranged perspective, as the rescue or perhaps the kill. But privatization basically, you know, back in 1935, privatization wasn't even a word. If you asked the President Roosevelt what that means, he'd probably look at you, you know, like, what are you talking about? It's a foreign word. Basically, the whole concept of privatization is to shift the responsibility of managing Social Security money away from the government to Wall Street, and we've seen that Wall Street clearly, just over the past several years, and furthermore beyond that, it really has no clue of anything about risk management or properly handling or how to manage people's retirement future.
And Ron, if you could look ahead maybe 10, 15, 20 years, what do you think is likely to happen, but what do you think really should happen?
What's going to happen is the age limit for, or the age requirement for collecting Social Security is going to be dramatically increased. Currently, the minimum age threshold, I believe, is 62. And for the younger generation, a lot of this depends on when you were born, but that is going to be a continuing trend. I even joke that someday we may even see unachievable age limits of collecting. You may have to be 85 or 90 before you can collect Social Security. And really beyond that, I think there's a lot less answers, a lot more questions, and I certainly don't have the answers, but it'll be interesting to see who does.
Ron Delegge is my guest. He is the editor of ETFguide.com. You also have a radio show, don't you, Ron?
Yeah, it's called the Index Investing Show, and the website indexshow.com. Please check it out.
Ron, if it's okay with you, I'm going to add you to my panel of experts and ask you back again sometime, okay?
Appreciate that, Scott. Let's keep in touch.
This is Scott Drake. Thanks for watching Annuity News Now.